Okay. So hello everyone, welcome to our second session for GAMPRG1. Today we will just be discussing how Unreal Engine 5 or Unreal Engine in general works, and I will just open a project and discuss how things work in it. Okay? Okay. So, Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine 5, this is what it looks like. Right now, we are using the updated one, the Unreal 5. So, for the past few years, we've been using 4, Unreal Engine 4. So, ngayon, we're using Unreal Engine 5. What's the difference? It's a bit darker than before and a bit cleaner, I guess. Yeah, a bit cleaner than before. Ayan. So how does the development workflow happen in Unreal Engine? So have people here used um, Unity? May nakapag Unity ba dito? Okay. Have you for people who have worked with Unity, have you worked with multiple people in it like artist and designer? Anyone? Not yet. Okay. Just individual projects. Okay, yeah. That's all right. Mostly other programmers. Okay. So, uh, sige. So here, let's talk about the designers. So designers, they're the people who create the gameplay, the mechanics, the level design. They're the ones who think about it. So they do balancing. They're the mediators between the programmers and artists. So in case they need to change uh, like if the programmer wants something for the artist, they talk to the designer first. They don't go straight to the artist. So the designers also are the ones who are responsible in making gameplay mechanic changes when they feel like it. So if they think that something needs to be changed, they change it right away. And this makes mechanics that are possible. They do also make mechanics that are impossible to implement. So minsan they will think of mechanics that are just too complicated uh, for us programmers to create. And they're also the start of the production line. So if they take a while in creating the game, the whole thing is delayed because of them. Then we have the artists. They're the ones responsible for the visual art and the 3D modeling, all the special effects, and the aesthetics for the levels and the sounds and animations. Sila yun. They're also the ones who create high quality assets. They're just impossible for the hardware. Yung mga tipong 4K textures, and then a million tries for their or triangles in their meshes. Ayun. They have also no concept of naming conventions. Unlike us, we follow a certain naming convention. Sila, may mga final, last final, tas tipong minsan may mga they have a sentence in the end just to show it's really the end of that, ano. Right? And they also sometimes take too much test space. Programmers, we're the ones who create the prototypes and implement game design. So whatever the designer wants, we're the ones who implement it. We're also the ones who expose data for designers so they can choose to change certain values if they want to, right? So they can play around with it. We're also the ones who create tools for designers as well. Now, we programmers are also the ones who are the slaves to the producers and the designers. So anything that they want to happen, we are there to do it for them. We are their slaves. We are also on the end of production line. So, if in case the deadline, if you miss the deadline, if the project project misses the deadline, they blame it at us, not at the designer, not the artist, at us, because we're the end of it. We're the ones who create the game, implement stuff. They're gonna blame us. So tayo rin, we handle bugs as well. So not only are we programming, but sometimes we end up being the uh, responsible in fixing the bugs. And if there are no quality assurance people in the team, ayun, automatic. You are the QA now. And sometimes we turn bugs into features. We just tell them it's a feature. It's part of the game, even though we all know it's not. So how does this all work as a team? So in the past, most of the workload is on the programmers. The programmers are the ones who are touching on the editor, right? So whatever that needs to be done, they tell the programmers to do it. Both the designers and the artist. Even the artist, they even tell the programmer how big it is, or if they think it's too big, they tell us to change the scaling and whatnot. Now with Unreal Engine, designers can now make their own prototype without knowledge in programming. So before, right, we need you need to know a bit of programming, C++, like uh, using semicolons, how if else works, ayun. Designers don't really need to know all of this because with Unreal Engine's blueprint, uh, visual scripting, it is much easier for them. So designers can also implement mechanics. A simple like just quite simple mechanic lang. They can implement it, and then we're there to fix it to make it more optimized and ayun. So programmers focus on the implementation of systems and core classes. So this is what we should have always been doing, to focus on the systems and the classes to optimize it, to make it uh, work. Ayun. That's what we're really supposed to do. Unlike before na we do all the implementation. So programmers focus on creating productive and efficient tools for designers so that they can easily fiddle with the gameplay mechanics. So now we make variables exposed. So we expose it so that the designers can change the data for it. They can easily balance things out by changing these sliders. Ayun, so like how much damage these enemies will do, or the attack speed. Ayun, designers can change those by themselves. So yun nga, programmers focus on optimization. Artists can do their own job without bothering the programmers and designers. Why? They can literally just place their assets in the game. They can do it by themselves now. They don't need the programmer to help them at all, unlike before. Any questions so far? None? Okay. I'll carry on. So, you can actually just be also a one-man team. So, being the only developer in the team, you need to be a programmer, designer, and artist at the same time. This is difficult and time-consuming. So, Unreal is so powerful that you can build a complex game without writing a single code. So this gave power to designers so they can take the role of implementing the game. So programmers are needed if the game demands fast performance and scalable systems. Usually designers do not take these into consideration. Ayun. So designers technically they can make their own game. It's just that it may not be as fast as they want. There might be some unoptimized stuff like how much deletion and creation of like bullets, right? Because there's a way to cheat through those. Tayo programmers, we know how to do those, but designers, they have to learn it pa. So ayun. There are some downfalls of just being a one-man team. So you could so with programmers, ayun, we're really just there to make things more optimized. So like I said, with visual scripting, that's how easy it is for designers to prototype. And visual scripting here in Unreal, it's called Blueprint. And it may look like this. So ito, medyo, uh, it's a bit spaghetti code. It's a bit messy. Normally, you wouldn't really code like this because not only would it confuse you, but it will confuse other programmers as well. But how it works is, you see this white line. Imagine this is how the code would work. From event tick, it will go to delay, it will go to the set, it will go to printing string, and then it will go to set actor transform. Unlike coding, it's from top to bottom. In here, you just have to follow the white line. All of this other lines, it really depends on what they are and what they do. Like here, we have a sum of the new var and the number one, right? We also have some other things here where we have a floor, meaning we floor the float to the nearest int. Uh, Build string, that's just something else. So, ayun, you'll encounter most of these nodes right here. So, Blueprint, it is a complete, robust, and visual gameplay scripting system. It's an intuitive node-based interface and with its OOP under the hood. So that means you don't really have to learn too much OOP here. Kaya nga okay siya for uh, designers. They don't have to learn OOP. It's already there na. They just have to properly know how to call some stuff and all. So Blueprint is powerful enough for non-programmers to build a complex game. Blueprint has access to most of underlying C++ code. This means Blueprint has much more power as has as much power as coding. So technically, the blueprints, they are C++ code. It's just that sometimes it's like bundled up with so many other C++ codes to make it as simple as just one node in Blueprint. So yes, it has as much power as coding mismo. With Blueprint, it's so powerful na you don't have to code that much anymore just to make a game. So non-programmers, they don't have to learn too much programming at all. So Blueprint is still similar to coding. You have functions, objects, and variables. And however, it gets kinda iffy kasi when it comes with complex algorithms like procedural generation, complex math, whatnot, it may become messy with Blueprint like this, right? But it could get way worse depending on how complex your function or method is. Oh, any questions here? Okay, let's carry on.
Sir, I have a question po.
Yes. What is your question?
Dun sa blueprints po, is there any programming involved? Like line by line programming?
No. With blueprints, you don't have to code anything. It's all just nodes in here. You can literally right click anywhere and search whatever function you want, and it's there na. You don't have to code at all with Blueprint. Okay? Later on in GAMPRG 2, then you will code You will code yung mga classes, or you can even create a code for a function, mga ganun. Pero in GAMPRG1, normally you don't have to code anything at all. Okay? So here we're just introduction lang with Unreal and the blueprint. Then pag GAMPRG 2, that's when you learn more advanced stuff. Any more questions? Or did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So chill lang kayo. Unlike sa unlike sa I don't know, BASPROG 3 or 2, right? With lots of C++ coding, I think, if that's still the same right now. Here in GAMPROG 1, we're all just gonna be using the blueprint, the visual scripting. Okay? Any more questions?
Add a whole bunch of extra techno junk.
Okay, so let's carry on. So I went to BASPROG and we didn't even need to code. So ayun, programmers have their own role in the Unreal Engine workflow, as I said. So jumping right in coding is actually counterproductive. So Unreal has a very steep learning curve. The best way to learn is how designers would learn it. Meaning, you start first with visual scripting. Do not try to go to C++ right away, because ang C++, it is a bit more complicated. You have to learn first what you need in like creation of an actor or a pawn. Ayun. You have to learn first by using the blueprint muna. Not only that, you even learn functions there in blueprint that you can later on use sa C++. So it is counterproductive if you go right to C++. So Unreal C++'s API is vast. Since blueprints are equivalent to C++ code, we can familiarize ourselves with the API. So marami mga components and functions yung Unreal. So better to learn first with the blueprint. Familiarize yourselves with it through blueprint. Then when you go to C++, it becomes easier for you. So Unreal Engine has quirks that you need to better know them before you start with nitty-gritty code. How can I explain this? So may mga ways kasi on how to do things in Unreal. And it is better to try it out first in Blueprint. Kasi, does it say here? Okay. So in C++, it takes actually a while to like compile your code and all, and productivity lowers because of that. So it is better to play around first with the blueprint. So even though we'll work in blueprints at first, the course perspective is focused largely on programmers. We'll learn more about blueprint versus C++ later in the course. No, maybe course in IMC, yes, but so far C++ has always been in GAMPRG 2, so you don't have to worry. So do we discard blueprint once we start coding? No. Blueprint and C++ work together. You cannot also simply just use C++ all the way. They both work together. Alright, gameplay framework. How does it work? How does it look like? So actor is made out of everything, and under that is pawn and character. Then we have component, like these are the ones that create the actor, like if it has some type of moving component or it has a static mesh component, mga ganun. We have controller, which handles the controls of the character, the pawn, which is we have player controller, which is for the player, and an AR controller, which is for the AI. We have game mode, game state, player state, map. So these ones we will discuss later on. Actor. They are the base class for objects. They are what makes up everything. Everything is an actor. So this can be a complex or it can just be a prop that does nothing. So actors can contain data like properties, mga variables, and behavior. They can have that. It has its own blueprint. The actors can be spawned and destroyed. They can be inherited to introduce new behavior. As in, my child class siya and all. Pwede ganun. Actor serves as a container to components. And actors can be taken or do something every frame. So, sa mga Unity, it's just like si game object where it is the base class. It is everything. Pawn is an actor. It inherits directly from actor. So it is something that can be possessed, meaning it be controlled by a controller. That's what it means. So when you mean possessing, it just means about controller controlling a pawn. So pawn is not limited to humanoid objects. It can be a jet. It can be a car. It can be a motorcycle. Those can be a pawn, something that can be controlled. So player is assigned to a single pawn on the start of the game. So in games like Candy Crush, the player controlled pawn is unclear. You don't really see it, but technically it is the one that like controls how well, from dragging the finger across the screen. And he controls the player and the pawn. Wala. It is really unclear. You don't really see it at all. So ayun, it is one of the quirks of Unreal Engine. Character naman, it inherits directly from pawn, which a humanoid. It is used for humanoid types of things, right? So yung mga character, it even has some properties for characters lang talaga. It even has like character movement. It handles like the gravity and stuff. Ayun. So this is really mainly for 3D humanoids. Any questions so far? Or clarifications? May di ba kayo nagagets? It's okay to ask. There's nothing wrong in asking. This is something new for everyone, so feel free to ask. None. Okay, carry on. So controller, like I said, is the one that can be player controlled or AI controlled. It is a non-physical actor responsible for directing a pawn. So they're the ones who controls the pawn, how it moves, where to go, ayun. So it can be AI or player controller. Kapag player controller, strictly is for the player to move. So lahat ng mga input ng player, ayun, player controller. Kapag AI, it is artificial intelligence. It is something that we code. So inherit from these controls to reduce custom behavior. Controllers take control of a pawn through possess function. So when you possess or unpossess, that's how you start controlling or stop controlling a pawn. So controllers receive input events, and it is a one-to-one relationship between controllers and pawn. So a pawn can only have one controller. It cannot have multiple controllers. Same thing with controller. A controller can only control one pawn at a time. So for genres like real-time strategy, your pawn is an invisible commander. And the commander is the one that controls yung mga units. Pero it's not the controller who's controlling those units. It's that commander. Anyway. Game mode. Now this is where Just imagine it's the rules of the game. It's the mechanics of the game. So it is how you say nag-handle ng if you win, how to lose. They're the ones who have those rules. Yeah, they're the ones who have the rules of the game. So game mode inherits from game mode base. Do not inherit from game mode. This is used for FPS. So see game mode kasi there are two kinds if you go to Unreal. There's game mode and then game mode base. So see game mode, it's the one for FPS. Sila, I mean, because Unreal was made for FPS, right? So talagang yan yung pinaka-base. Game mode base is the one where you can do custom behaviors, custom rules. So a game mode is tied to a map. It is almost like, it is also a one-to-one. So the map can only have one game mode. To change game mode, you must change map. Ayun. So in a multiplayer environment, game mode only exists in the server. So you won't be doing any multiplayer naman for this term or for the next GAMPRG unless you feel like it. But ayun nga, sa game mode, nasa server lang siya. Server is the one that handles if panalo or talo yung mga players, and then it sends it to those clients or those players, the outcome of the game. Anyway, game state. Oh, sorry. Any questions here? Game mode? Or clarifications? How game mode works? None? Okay. Okay, let us carry on. Game state is the state of the actors. This should not be specific to any individual actor. Game state is contained in game mode. If game mode is a logic, game state is storage for shareable data. So this data, in order for the multiplayer to work properly, game state is the one that handles all the variables and all, and sends it to those clients or yung mga players. So game state exists on the server and all clients. So this makes it easier for clients to replicate data from the server. So this is a thing for Unreal, since it is this engine was made for multiplayer. It has its own built-in mga stuff such as like this game state. So this one, it just makes multiplayer much easier to work with online. So usually you want to use this if you're making a multiplayer game. So for single player games, kahit sa game mode na mag-handle ng data. Player state holds the shared data across all players. If game state holds shared data across all players, player state holds a state of that individual player connected to the server. So siya may hawak ng player score or number of kills. Again, this might be overkill if you're building a single player game. So again, kapag single player, you don't need player state. Kahit sa game mode na bahala nun. Alright, so this is what it kind of looks like. So si player controller, it contains like the HUD, how yung makikita mo sa UI mo. Right? It also handles the input of the player. It also handles the camera of the player. So player controller, it can possess a pawn. Same thing with the AI controller. It can possess a pawn. And when a player wants to join a map or whatever, it's the player controller that goes into that game mode, not the player character, not anything else. It's the player controller. Okay, any questions? Or clarifications? Alright. There's none. Clear? Clear naman? Okay. Okay. So, yeah, that's just the intro for Unreal Engine. And right now I will show it to you mismo. So for people who have not downloaded Unreal Engine yet, Unreal Engine 5.2 to be more specific. In order to download it, you have to go to or download Epic Games Launcher. Sure, whatever. Download Epic Games Launcher, and then make sure there should be a Unreal Engine here on the left. If you click on it, it shows this. If you go to the library, it shows the engine versions. Right now, I have 5.2.1 installed. But at the start, parang it will show only 5.3, right? So you click this plus, and it'll pop up another tab here that you can choose what version you want. In our case, we'll be using 5.2.1. Download it, and then you can launch it. I mean, ayan. So it's initializing. It takes a while, but soon it'll show a window where we could choose a template. So there are multiple templates here that you can try, but in our case, we'll be using games and third person. Make sure that it's in Blueprint and start content is on, so we can use other meshes. You can name it anything. I will name this as test project, and then I will create. So this is what it looks like at the start. You have the window, the game window. We have the outliner. We have details. And then we need some other stuff. Like if you down here, we have the content drawer, which is the explorer, or the browser, where all our stuff is in it. You can dock it if you want. No, not like that. Like, wait, hold on. Dock? Oh my god. So you can just place it down here. So if you want to always see it, right? Up to you. Unless you want to like just pop it up whenever you want. Sure, okay lang. What else? There's another window that I like to have open also, which is called the Place Actors window. Ayan, it should be on the left side. You can place it anywhere, whatever is comfortable for you. But for me, this is a bit comfortable. I mean, you can make this smaller. So anyway, it's okay. Content browser has all the folders that you want. If you click on to move around, if you hold right click here, I'm holding right click, you can move the camera left, right, up, down. If I hold right click and use the WASD, I can start moving forward, backward, left, and right, depending on where my camera is looking at. Without right clicking, you cannot move. You can choose to middle click if you want to go up and down, left, right. Pero most of the time I just use right click and WASD. So this is how I usually move around the map if I want to check around. Now, if you click on objects, you'll notice that the details start changing. So it has it has stuff here na you'll learn about later. Pero ayun, makita mo yung mga details niya, what it's made out of. Like here, it's just a static mesh. Here, it's just a static mesh. Ayun. Okay. So again, right click and WSD to move around. I think you can use naman the arrow keys here. If you feel like using the arrow keys, go ahead. You don't have to right click. But for me, I just I just right click and move around. Okay. Then if you want to place stuff like just ordinary stuff like shapes like cubes, so in the place actor, you can just hold left click and drag it to the map or to the level. So you can create stuff here. You can scale it by pressing here. You can scale stuff, or you can rotate here. If you press here E, here, ayan, you can rotate the box. You can use keys also, like if you press R is the scale. It should say here and R, or you can press E to rotate. Like here, it says here E. And if you want to go back to just moving, it's just W. Okay. What else? Here in the outliner, medyo kasi malit lang yung outline, yung window ko for outliner. Outliner is technically the hierarchy of this map. It shows all the things that are in the level. You can double click it and it will zoom in on that object mismo. Here. Sphere. Ayan. You can also delete from here if you want. If you press delete here, ayan, madi-delete siya. You can also delete here mismo in the map by left clicking stuff and then delete it. Okay? So that's how you navigate around the level. Any questions here? Or yung mga may Unreal, you can try to test that as well. Any questions? 5.2, not 5.3. We will be using 5.2. Yes, it's basically the inspector window of Unity. It shows everything about the object, such as the location, the transform. Ayan, pwede may move around. You know, it also has the rotation, the scale, and dito siya. It also has other stuff, like what kind of static mesh it's using. If you change it, like the stairs, it becomes the stairs. Change it to a wall with a door. Ayun. You can play around also with physics if you want. If you want to simulate physics, so if you press play, it'll start falling. Ayun. Pwede yun. It has some other more stuff, but we will learn these later on. Any more questions? Okay. So, in order to play the level or the map that's open, you have to press the play button, which is up here. Sometimes you may accidentally press simulate instead. So, ayan, to change it, you have to make sure that selected viewport is the one that's checked. Not standalone, not new editor, not simulate. it should be selected viewport. So if you press play, here's my character. This is the template that we chose, which is third person. So they're able to make it where you can have the camera look around, and also with WASD, my character will move around based on where my camera is looking. If I'm looking left here and I press W, it will start moving that direction. So this is Unreal's template. They even have jump as well for you to play around. I think I can interact with this, yeah. So if I can push it by just. So this is Unreal's gravity and physics component working. Okay. This was not moving, I think, because I forgot to set it to. Ano yun? It's because of its collision. Meh. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. So again, to play it out, press the play button up here, and you should have control. Next, how do we create an actor? So in here, I'll just go to content. If you right click in the content browser, itong lalabas. Right? And in here, you have level, material. I don't even know what Niagara system. This is new. But what's important here is this blueprint class. So see blueprint class, this is where you create a blueprint for whatever class you want. Actor, pawn, character, all other types of classes are here. But right now, let's just create an actor. So here it tells you what to name the actor. I can name it as test actor. Ayan. If you open it, this is what it will look like. It opens up a new tab. I can choose to move it to the main window by dragging the tab mismo, this one, into our main window. So pwede ganon. Kayo bahala. Whatever floats your boat. Now same thing. Same thing rin with sa editor. I can hold right click and move around here. It's moving a bit too fast, so I can actually lower it by changing the camera speed. Maybe like, oh my god, what is wrong with this? Like 0.33, so it's a bit slower. We can change the scaler if you want. Half of it pa nga. And it should be a bit slower. If it changed, oh my god. No, it doesn't want. Okay, so medyo bug out yung camera speed ko. But anyway, in here naman, there are like how to snap it, either by 1, 5, 10, etc. What does it look like? Let's put a cube here. If it's by 10, it moves by 10 units. If I change it to 50, it snaps to the next 50s. So ayan. Up to you. Up to you, whatever, how precise you want it to be. What other parts here? Same thing. It has QWER. WER, which is like W for the location, E for the rotation, R for the scale. Next, in here, like I said a while ago, static mesh can be changed. You can even add your own here, like just static mesh. The static mesh will just, if you move this here, maybe just move the static mesh. Ayan. The static mesh, wala siya. It's nothing because right now it is in none. I could add like a shape cone or a like a sphere. Then it changes the mesh. And here is our hierarchy again. You can choose to change the parent by holding left click or dragging the component, and then we can place it anywhere and attach. If I want to change the root, I can simply again drag it to the scene root. It becomes the root component. Or if it's like if it's like a child path, and make new root. And it is now the root component of the actor. So here I can delete the cube. Okay. Another important thing here, compile. Compile. It compiles yung mga blueprint and stuff. So if you go back here, we can simply click and drag the test actor, and I can place it around the map that we just created. So going ko, I will, where is this? Okay. For here, I will just simulate the physics, and I believe this thing should fall. Ayan. And I can make it move around. Okay. Any questions with creating an actor? So yeah, this is creating the actor here, adding the components. Next is, oh wait, any questions? No? Okay. Now we go to the blueprint itself. This is what it looks like. We have begin play, actor begin overlap, event tick. So begin play, it is called at the start of the game, if it is there na. Right. See, event tick, this is called every frame. So in Unity, it is update. So what if I want to, okay. If I right click anywhere here, dito na lalabas yung parang list of functions that I can use. It is a lot, right? It is just too much. So you can simply just search it if you know what to search for. Like in this case, if I want to print a string, print string. Ayan. Lalabas siya dito. Print string. So if I click on it, it's here. Then, in order for me to make it call at the start, I have to drag this part, this arrow, and drag it to the left side or the start of the function. Now this means from begin play, it will follow this white line and then print string. So I'll type here hello GAMPRG1. Compile. Make sure you compile. So if I play, right now our ball is here. If I play it, Ayan. Hello, GAMPRG1. Let me just delete this. Okay. If I want to make it call every tick, all I do is I could right click and break this link, or I could hold Alt and then press the line and it will delete. Okay, so here I'll do it event tick. So every frame it will call GAMPRG1. Then if I play this, oops. Ayan. Magsaspam siya na hello GAMPRG1. And it won't stop until it stops it's deleted or something. Ayan. Okay. There are other functions here as well that you can try to play around with, like set actor location. So may mga ganong function which is it will set the location based on this. Or you can also try add position. Add actor local offset or world offset. So this will move at this direction when this is called. So okay, let's test it out. I will close the physics here. So let's see. Ayan. If I play this, right now it's suspended in the air. If I call here, let's say the new location, the location will be like 10. And on event tick, what do you think will happen? Anyone? So every frame, I set the actor location to this location. What will happen?
Sir,
Yes.
does it move the actor 10 paces on the x-axis
Every frame.
every frame?
So who else thinks like that? It will move 10 in the x axis every frame. Anyone? Or would it just stay at this location then? Like see AJ. Okay. So what happens is if I set the actor location, this means I will put this actor into this location, which is 10. So if I play this ball goes to 10. We just have to find it. I think it was called test actor. Here it is. Let me just eject. So if I detach here or eject, I have control again, but it is still playing. So here it is. Here's our object at 10, 0, 0. So we check, ayun, 10, 0, 0. What happens if I call this instead? And I want it to move, or I want the location to be 0.1. So every frame, it'll call this function, add actor world offset. What will happen to the ball? Anyone? Okay, correct. So every tick, this actor will be moving 0.1 because it is offsetting itself to that delta location. So if you played, if I play this, it is slowly moving to the x-axis. How do I make sure it's in the x-axis? Oops, sorry, bro. Ayan. So if you see the x-axis here, so it is moving at that direction. If you check the x, ayan. So every frame, it is moving by 0.1. Okay? So, yeah, you can play around with, you can play around pa with, the actors. Uh, in the, in the Dropbox naman, it tells you how to create, your character and all. So, andun siya. You can just follow the instructions, how to do it, and you should be able to create your own character. Uh, any questions? Or is there something you guys want to see before we end this session muna? Is it recorded? Yes, it is recorded. No? Are you all good? You don't want to see anything else? Okay, you guys want to try it out yourself? Okay. So if it's all good for now, uh, let me just double check. Yeah, I'll pause this first. Okay, sige. So if there's no other questions, please do your milestones. I think magsa-start na yung mga deadlines. But again, those are soft deadlines lang ah. They're not hard deadlines, meaning you can submit after the deadline. It's just that ang important is you send, you should do, ay, wait lang. You should finish all your milestones by the last milestone. After this date, wala na. There's no more checking off the milestones. So again, make sure you submit everything before. Oh, is this right? Wait lang, sorry. This is mali ate yung ano. Yung midterms. When is midterms? 11/17. Oh. Ito nag-October 29. Well, dahil na... Okay. So, finals will be October 18... 25. Not 29. I'll change it to 25. Okay? So, sorry, not finals, midterms. So, make sure you submit by October 25 lahat ng milestones nyo. And you can always resubmit naman your milestones. You can always resubmit it after yung feedback ko. There's no problem. Basta, make sure, submit it by this time. Okay? Any questions or concerns? Finals. Mano. Sige. Yeah. I adjusted it kasi for the others. Pero, yeah. I will change it. I will change all of this again. Yeah, basic ko lang yan. 17, 23. Kind of finals. When is finals? 6:30. What happened? 6:13. Dahil lang walang pasok nung isang Monday, no? Sige, we'll see, we'll see. I'll change this later on. But anyway, follow mo natin to, si October 25. Okay? So, there are no questions or concerns. That's it for today. I'll post this na lang in our Big Sky for you to rewatch again. So again, don't forget to do your milestones. And yeah. Ingat lang kayo. Okay? See you na lang next week ulit. Bye-bye.
Nice.